Hey friends, I hope you're doing really well. I hope you've had a great rest of the week since last time we spoke on our last live video. And in this week's lives, and teaching videos or whatever we call these, just want to jump right in to speak on a topic that's really near and dear to my heart and that I think is non-negotiable in our recovery from disordered eating and chaotic eating and all the things, right? And body image issues. For those who don't know me, my name is Tracy Brown. I'm a trauma-trained dietitian and eating disorder expert and help people make peace with food and body. And we do these live videos one to two times a week, sometimes even three, but most of the time 1 to 2 times, just to encourage you wherever you are on your making peace with food and body journey. And I think this is a really important topic because as human beings, beyond needing food and air and water and shelter and sleep to not physiologically die within a matter of weeks, as human beings, we also are wired to connect. That's just part of the way our whole beings are made up, that our nervous system helps us connect. Emotionally, we want to connect. Relationally, we want to connect. And no one has any kind of eating issues in the absence. If there's not an absence of relational love and security and feelings of worth and of being significant to someone in some kind of way, if those things are there and intact and they're relatively good enough, the probability of someone having an eating disorder isn't very high, to be honest, because we'll have an internal sense of self to where when maybe people don't affirm everything about us, or maybe we get some rejection coming our way, or something like that happens, we don't feel automatically like, oh, something's bad and wrong about me. I need to hate myself and I got to fix myself to get back into that connection. And so if you've had any kind of rupture in appropriate, good enough connection at some point in your life, something that really just shook your foundation, or you never had a good foundation of love, especially some unconditional, close as we can get to unconditional love as we can, safety, worth, significance, we are really at risk for feeling like when we've been rejected, we're more likely to have a negative thinking cycle that turns into self-rejection and live that out as if we're continuously being rejected by most everything and everyone around us all the time, right? And so that's some of the root of why, even though when we know better, we know that like bodies come in all shapes and sizes, that's just genetic diversity. We know you can't look at a person and know anything or everything about their health behaviors, their trauma histories, we don't know anything about any body by looking at them. We know these things intellectually, but it's when it doesn't land in our systems and we don't feel secure even though we know better, is when we really want to look at like, I have these feelings and I have these thoughts about myself that are really self-rejecting. I look in the mirror and I feel worthless or stuck or ugly or I weigh too much. And if I could just, what's wrong with me? If I could just fix myself, then I'd be okay. And that always tells me really right off the bat, either we recently or have a long history of rejection. And so why do we go back to this well and listen to these lies and come into agreement with these lies that I'm ugly, I'm worthless, I weigh too much, I'm not enough in some kind of way? Why do we continue to believe those lies when our adult selves know that, like, wait a minute, like that's not congruent with all areas of my life? And how come I've been believing that? And usually that always comes with some kind of trigger. We've been rejected in some kind of way, or there's something in now time that's happening that's reminding us of past, the way rejections felt. And so when we're struggling with like acceptance of ourselves, a feeling like we're not being seen and we want to be seen, wanting to relate in our family systems, and the tape is that the only way I can get there by changing my bodies, you're more likely than to have those thoughts of like, self-rejecting, I'm not good enough, I'm this, I'm that, or I'm not enough. And what our job is to do, one, is to audit those thoughts of like, wait, what? What just happened to me? That I was telling myself all these negative things when 2 days ago, I didn't even have those feelings at all. Not a thought came across my mind. I just got the clothes on and went out the door and didn't even think about anything. Or I was in this company, I was keeping this company, or I was in this situation, and I felt like either I wasn't thinking about my body too much, or I didn't really even think my body was a problem. And now here we are 2 days later, and the only reason I'm not going back on a diet is because it's just against my value system. It's not that I don't want to. And we want to get really clear, well, what happened? And so I want to just pose this question back to you. It does take time to be able to cultivate a here and now resourcing of nature, of internal and external resources, of good enough, safe enough people to be around us that do accept us and love us for how we are. We all need that. And if we don't have that, if we don't have the enough, and we're also being triggered by what was too much or not enough from our past, that's when we're going to find ourselves wanting to relate. Like, okay, well, the only way I think that I can maybe fit in this environment, whatever it is to change my body. Or, of course, I have to hate my body. I have to hate it, so I'll like ignore my hunger signals and my fullness signals, and I can do something about this feeling. Or I'm just doing all these things because I hope at least if they don't emotionally understand me or relationally try to connect with me, at least I'll have this. And this being body change, right? At least I'm looking like I'm trying, or I'm trying to be something that is more comfortable to them. So if you're finding that's what is the trigger, I think it's really, really important to get back into, okay, what feeds my soul? What feeds me that doesn't cause me harm? So we're going to talk more about that in Wednesday's videos. Like, what feeds y'all? What helps you know and have this new experience inside? That there are other ways to get relatedness. There are other ways to be seen, to feel acceptable. That doesn't have to do with you manipulating your body to get it. Because it's not worth the cost. And that's the title of this video is what we're seeking worth the cost of the harm that's going to be brought, to our bodies, to our minds, to our, how we have, how we do or don't have emotional capacity. So anyway, that's it for today. Just want to do a topic that was on my heart. And I look forward to hearing your comments, your experiences, what triggers you, where you get tripped up. The more you share with me, the more I can probably give some more nuanced even information in the next video. So, we'll have all this summarized, of course, at the end of the week on Saturday. And I hope this gives you something to think about for now. And then I really look forward to hearing your comments, whether it's here live or in messaging, whatever you want to do. But really want to hear from you all about how you are starting to be a compassionate witness towards when I want to go back to something that I know is not in my value system, that does me harm, that makes me try to realign with who I don't want to be. What just happened? And let's get a little deeper with it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.